Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Really glad to have you. This time we're talking about how many times the media and Hillary Clinton, former President Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Karine Jean-Pierre, all these people, Kamala Harris, lying about Joe Biden's mental fitness as he is quote unquote the president of the United States right now, although he's been absent since Trump won. He's made appearances to pardon his son. He's made appearances to pardon around 1,500 other people who I think most of them were criminals. You had one in an embezzlement case. You had another one that is just a stone cold criminal. And but other than that, he is also clueless about the drone situation in New York and New Jersey, some places in Pennsylvania as well. But other than that, it just seems like President-elect Trump is the presumptive president. He is acting in a presidential capacity right now in terms of his presence overseas, the way he weighs in on the current budget fight that's going on at Capitol Hill right now. The U.S. federal government is, excuse me, the U.S. federal government is facing a shutdown, a partial shutdown. Don't quite understand what that means in its totality. I know that there may be some federal workers furloughed or temporarily laid off and brought back once the budget situation on the Hill is finalized. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that they need to sign a package that's going to get us from December 31st, 2024 to at least January 21st of 2025. That's a day after President Trump's inauguration. And of course, as soon as he takes his hand off the Bible, he is going to get to work securing our border and bringing down grocery store prices and drill, baby, drill. Right? But sticking to the matter at hand, I want to show you some clips that I believe highlight how much they lied. If I showed every clip on how much they lied about Joe Biden's mental capacity to do the job, it would take all night and I would run out of time, right? But without any further ado, let's play the first clip here for you.
Because, as I've said here on the show over the past couple weeks, I've spent a good bit of time with Joe Biden. I've spent a couple of hours with Joe Biden, sitting, talking, going around the world as far as talking issues, talking the economy, talking inflation. And I must say, when I was talking to him, my thought wasn't, oh, poor guy. My thought was, oh, my God. I wish Dr. Brzezinski were on the other side of the table right now, because these two guys, 50 years of experience, and Joe Biden hasn't forgotten it. He may get pissed off at a press conference, and he may be thinking about the Mexican border deal and say Mexico instead of Egypt. He knows what he's talking about. He circles back around, gets to Egypt. He might misplace a word here and there, but you talk to him for hours at a time. Is he slower? Does he move slower? Yeah, he's moved slower. Is he stiffer? Yeah, he's moved stiffer. He's had trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. We got out of the Depression. We wanted GD war against Nazism and against the Japanese. But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth.
It's about to get good.
If you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you read the New Yorker interview, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference in Oshkosh, but or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But if you want to know the truth, if you really give a damn, if anybody out there gives a damn about the truth, read that interview. And you.
All right, so this is Joe Scarborough from MSNBC. They come on Monday through Friday, I think 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 6 to 10, something like that. They got about 3 or 4 hours of spewing hate and things of that sort about Trump every day, Monday through Friday, right? But I believe this video came out before the June debate between Biden and Trump, because I believe after he said this, Biden's mental decline was on full display for all the world to see, and then he wound up backtracking on what he just said about Joe Biden's mental sharpness. I don't have the clip for that, but let's move on. Here is Karine Jean-Pierre at a press conference answering a reporter's question about Joe Biden's mental fitness, what the status is.
Attention, single men.
Let's get past this commercial real quick. Excuse the latency issues, guys. I need better equipment, but we should be able to get through this fairly quickly. As the video is pulling up, there we go.
You talked a lot about how, and the president says this too, that people should watch him when there are questions about his age. Perhaps not.
Let's fast forward a little bit.
People. On the road, obviously, and spent hours with them. So folks have seen him, and you all have seen him yourselves as you cover this president. And so you see him interact, you see him engage. And even when he was in Vegas, he took some questions that you all had, and that and answer. He tends to answer them in a light way, a funny way, and is sharp with his answers to some of you about that. And so look, and he's also meeting with world leaders. He did that with the German chancellor. He's obviously going to do this today with Kim Abdullah. And I spoke already about my experience with him, and just to answer your question, I've spent countless hours with this president, whether in the Oval Office or on the road, and I have to say, he's sharp, he's engaged, he pushes us for information. Emails at like 2 o'clock in the morning, or is there any sort of, I mean, look, I think it's like a finer point on what it is exactly that you see that somehow isn't coming across to the rest of the American people. Look, I think the fact that when he meets with his team, when he meets with staff, he is, as I said, incredibly engaged. As I said, very sharp, and ask us back and forth. We go back and forth on whatever information, whatever is.
She's lying.
That's on his mind, and it happens very often. And so that's my experience with him. But you all see him on the road. I mean, he was, when we were in Vegas, he was asked about, he was asked a specific question about the former president. And he answered that in a fun, sharp, kind of way. That's him. That is him. What you see there is him. And so, look, I think...
So basically, the takeaway from this clip is the news reporter had asked her, hey, she let Karine Jean-Pierre know that the American people do not see with their own eyes and hear with their own ears that Joe Biden's mental health was up to snuff. I didn't see it. I still don't see it. Millions and millions and millions of Americans don't see it. So when Karine Jean-Pierre is up at the podium saying that he's sharp as a tack, the news reporter asked a follow-up question and said, well, what are you seeing that the American people aren't seeing when you say that his mind is sharp as a tack? Is he up at 2:30 a.m. in the morning sending emails? Is he reading reports? What? Couldn't answer the question. Could not answer the question at all. And we're going to get to the next clip. Again, more lies about Joe Biden's mental capacity to run the country, to hold the nuclear codes. This, I think, is a form of election interference. And we have to look at it like that, because it seems like the clips that I played so far have all been lies about Joe Biden's mental health at the time. And we all know now that his mental health is nowhere near where it should be for someone holding the nuclear codes. Withholding information from a voter, a potential voter, and that information has the potential to change the course of a decision made at the ballot box, is election interference. My opinion. But let's roll on. Hopefully we get this.
You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room.
Another word salad.
He has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After
is.
George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump.
She knew.
That's why the people
She's sidestepping the question.
Including leaders of our national security.
Yeah, I don't feel like hearing the rest of the clip, because she's going to deflect and start trashing Trump, which that's the default move for these leftist Democrats. They don't have issues to stand on. They don't have a record to point to that where they can say, I signed this bill into law, or I proposed this bill, help get it signed into law, and this is what helped the American people. It seems like everything that the Biden-Harris administration has done since Biden was inaugurated up until now, things have gone to crap. Shit has hit the fan. And you could see it in the headlines, almost everywhere you turn. Shit is hitting the fan. Social media, legacy media, everybody, they had a reality check during Biden's performance in June of 2024. And we are going to get to it shortly. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Smash the like button if you like this. Don't forget to smash the like button if you're enjoying this so far.
Make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we had to do with.
Look how Trump's looking at him.
If we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicaid. He beat it to death.
Make sure that all...
Yeah, I like that. I really do. Let's get to an article. This article was written by Maureen Callahan. She is a reporter, an award-winning reporter, investigative reporter, an opinion column writer for the UK DailyMail.com. And I believe that this article was very telling. There was let's get into it, right? From Maureen Callahan, the terrifying scandal was that Biden was never president. The full truth about the cover-up, bad Dr. Jill, that's Jill Biden, right? She likes to be called doctor because she has a doctorate in non-medical subjects. Bad Dr. Jill and all the enemies within must be exposed, the article says. See if we can get this thing going. All right, the knives have come out. And so has the truth. Having been lied to for so many years by the Democratic Party machine and most of the mainstream media who insisted Joe Biden was not diminished by his age but energized by it. Well, it turns out we skeptics were right all along. They tried to call it a cheap fake, deep fake. Biden falling everywhere. He's stumbling and blumbling all over his words. He's intelligible at times when he's trying to describe different complicated concepts related to foreign relations and international security. Very apparent. And what we're learning is terrifying, infuriating, and unacceptable abuse of power, a usurpation of the presidency itself by a nameless, faceless cohort. So basically, that sentence is saying, we don't know who was running the country. We still don't know. It could be the deep state, the administrative state. It could be allegedly, right? Because somebody in that has that mental capacity and falling all over the place, it's nearly impossible to, give any credit to Biden running this country. It certainly feels like there's a void somewhere, right? So the question is, we'll never know who these conspirators are. 2 bombshell reports out this week in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal depict the president thoroughly out to lunch for his entire term. Top cabinet members unable to reach him, staff regularly taking his place at official events, Biden refusing to hold morning meetings but clocking out at 4 p.m., even though he naps every day, and in July announced that he no longer hold events after 8 p.m. However, how many hours has Joe Biden actually spent working? How is the 25th Amendment not invoked? You got to remember when Joe Biden was caught up in the classified documents mess. He spent nearly 50 years in the Senate, and he was allegedly taking classified documents home, stored them in his home in Delaware, and the Hur report came out. He was appointed special counsel to look into the matter. part of his summary in the report said that, hey, he's not going to charge Biden because Biden is basically a feeble old man with a lapse in memory, and the trial would do nothing to help him to help his cause, to help the Democratic Party. It's just going to expose that his mental decline is more prevalent than once thought. Right? How many hours did he work? How was the 25th Amendment not invoked? Was the danger of a president, Kamala Harris, who the liberal media also tried to sell as viable, truly that unthinkable? Drain the swamp resonates for a reason. That's what we voted for as the American people. We were tired of this current administration gaslighting us about the economy, gaslighting us about our friends and adversaries across the globe. And all we need is strong U.S. leadership to deter a lot of the activity you see going on in the world right now. Meanwhile, Biden's campaign spokesperson, Kevin Munoz, sought to deflect his boss's dereliction by, you guessed it, going after Trump. That's what they always do. This is, I think this was the Air Force Academy where he made a speech and attempted to exit the stage, and he tripped over a sandbag. This is him seemingly having difficulty walking in sand with his wife, Dr. Jill. Normal presidents strike a balance, and so does Joe Biden. Hardly the same rigor as Donald Trump, who spends half of his day ranting on Truth Social and the other half golfing, Munez said in July, days after the catastrophic TV debate and days before the Times reported that a Parkinson's expert had visited the White House 8 times over as many months. The gaslighting has failed to catch fire. If only legacy media had pursued this new line of reportage, I don't know, back in 2019 when it mattered. Now that these outlets are shedding eyeballs and subscribers, we're getting some actual investigative reporting, albeit on the obvious. It's pretty obvious a long time ago that Joe Biden had some mental issues. Joe Biden has no idea what's going on. Breaking news, right? That's not really breaking news. Top national security officials told the Journal that meetings with Biden could suddenly, no matter the urgency, be scrapped or be canceled or postponed. One security advisor had a scheduled meeting canceled because the president was having a bad day. Those bad days a common occurrence. This while Russia invaded Ukraine, Hamas attacked Israel, and China floated spy balloons over the United States. Syria has fallen. Harkens back to that spy balloon and what's going on now with the drones. Trump said that the Biden administration knows what's going on, and I believe, it's my opinion, that I think that the current administration, they know what's going on with these drones. They're trying to float some misinformation out there to keep us distracted or whatever the case is, but the president's main job is border security, airspace security, securing U.S. citizens from foreign threats or domestic threats. And for weeks now, John Kirby, people, White House spokesman, DOD spokesperson, Sabrina Singh, they know nothing. And I call bullshit on that. Against this incendiary geopolitical backdrop, the Dems, knowing full well how incapacitated Biden was, plotted to install him again. Such is Trump derangement syndrome. Such was their fear that VP Harris, the ultimate DEI hire, they said it, I didn't have what it takes. So now the rage, now the truth. Biden is a dead man walking, and they're going to throw his political corpse on a funeral pyre if Joe doesn't burn it all down first, as his vengeful wife Jill is reportedly urging him to do. I don't know how true that reporting is about Jill Biden wanting to burn the presidency, the office of the presidency, all down before he departs. I would have to look into that and do a separate video on that. But it was pretty despicable. If it is true, it's pretty despicable of her. Truly, is there a greater metaphor for the Biden presidency's death rattle than the dismissal of SUV-sized drones swarming over the Northeast? Any greater example of a president asleep at the beach? Remember, MSNBC's Joe Scarborough, as recently as March, called this sham of a president intellectually and analytically the best Biden ever. So he made those remarks in March, which obviously tells me that March came before June. When June came, Biden had the poor debate performance, and Joe Scarborough had to eat those words. I'll put the link to the article in the description. But basically, you got top aides coming out in this Wall Street Journal report that I'm not sure if once you explore the article with the link that I'm going to leave in the description below, there's a link to the report, to the Wall Street Journal report or whatever. This UK Daily Mail one is just a summary of that report that came out in the Wall Street Journal. But to sum it all up before I depart, close Biden aides, you had top aides, you had middle management aides, and you had lower level aides. Most of them came out and said, hey, this guy is not as sharp as everybody's saying that he is on TV. He cancels meetings. He clocks out around 4 p.m. every day. He doesn't have any meetings in the morning. He takes naps every day. Unresponsive, unavailable on phone calls, reaching out, things like that, like a normal president would be, and would get mad at the staff if staff members were briefing numbers or narratives that were contrary to his administrations. So very interesting stuff. Very glad that you were able to join me on this segment of They Lied to Us All about Biden's mental decline. And with that, smash the like button if you enjoyed this content, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.